Hi guys, it's 3 p.m. chat time with the podcast news briefing. Let me report. Yes, so what we're doing today, guys, love seekers, is we're talking about the Belle Collective. Now Maria is opening up and changing so many facilities. But at the same time, she's saying that she is like retiring. So I was like, I don't get that. I don't understand how you're going to be retiring, but you're still opening up facilities. So I don't know what that's about, but sounds kind of like backwards to me. Seems like you would start, closing down some facilities. Now the women seem to be getting along nice. That was good in this episode. But Tamra, yeah. Let's see, Tamra. One moment, though. Okay. But Tamra, first of all, she's always wearing these wool hats and fur coats when everyone else don't even have a scarf on. Like in this episode, she had a fur coat on and a wool hat. People didn't have a scarf around their neck. No one had gloves on, not even a jean jacket. No one had that on. So it seems like it's not as cold as she thinks. But she'll show up in the middle. Isn't this Alabama? And she'll show up in the middle of the day with fur coat on. Like she did to Marie new facility that she's opening up. So I just think that's very, very funny. Tamara is a funny one. She's very cute and adorable looking, but she has a very sassy personality, and she'll let you know I'm not just cute and adorable, but she's a self-made woman. Okay, so yeah. Now also Glenn, Glenn, Letitia's husband, is he's very, very, very funny. So Glenn is like, stepping out and taking time out to spend time with his son. And so I thought that was really great. Now his son got so big, and, the son really looked, if you go back and look at the episode, the son really does look like Letitia, But I didn't see that when he was younger, but now I definitely see that the son looks just like Letitia. And so I don't really see how much he looks like Glenn yet, but most of the times when the boys do grow up, they start to look more like their father after a while. Yeah, so I have noticed that. Now Carrie, she's like one of the new girls here, and she definitely brings it. And so Carrie is basically, she needs to stop arguing over and over and over again with her husband's mother. I mean, that must have really be challenging for her husband to constantly see. But this episode, his mother was the one calling her like retarded allegedly, and why, and what's wrong when she keeps saying to her, "What is wrong with you? Something must be wrong with you." Can you imagine having to deal with that? Your mother keep saying that, like something's wrong with you. Every time you try to express yourself and talk about things with her, your mother and her husband, his mother is telling her something's wrong with her. That seems a little dysfunctional there, guys. And I don't know exactly why they don't like each other, but it is apparently shown that they do not like each other. Because, Carrie doesn't seem to argue with her own mother like that. So I don't think it's just her personality. I think that, and also for Carrie's husband's mother, she doesn't seem to argue with her son like that. But I definitely think that they just don't get along, and Carrie walked off because her husband's mother is basically saying, you're retarded or something must be wrong with you. Oh my goodness, that's bad right there. Very, very bad. And it seems like they just cannot get it together. Like those two just cannot seem to get along. And I don't get it, It's very, very odd. I never heard anything like that. Um, I feel as though his wife and mother need to not spend so much time together. And if his mother, Carrie's husband's mother, had to move in with them, they might actually come to blows, like a real fight. Because these verbal attacks can become physical. Sometimes people get tired of someone talking to them the wrong way because they're verbal attacks. And, you know, instead of Carrie walking up, I'm walking away, it might escalate into something else. So, it seems like his mother is not going to stop, and I just don't understand why she allows herself to get together like that. Because, again, Carrie doesn't seem to be having a combative argumentative type of relationship with her mother, so why would she sit there and let his mother just talk to her any type of way? I would be like, because I feel as though they've seen each other too many times this season. Like, it should be a few times a year, But they're always together and they're always arguing, talking about the land that his mother has, and his mother does not like her point of view on that. So it's really something, to see and listen to. I've never heard it before, and they definitely need some counseling. And I think it'd probably be don't be around each other. Yeah. Because it's not the big happy family that they're trying to portray. And every time they get together, there's an argument. Yeah, that's no good. But this episode's really been nice. They all went on a family. They're trying to act like a blended family. But it's just a few couples of them. Them and their husband or boyfriend, they all went and took the Mercedes bus vans, to a house, and Carrie and her husband, basically, that's like a pull-out sofa. And so he's like calling, like, I'm about to totally go and get a room, a hotel room. I don't know why they do that, but it's considered a room, and it does have a bed. It's a pull-out sofa bed, but it does have a bed. And so the house looks nice, but no one wants to be that one. No one wants to get into that room. They're like, no. Because those pull-out sofa beds, they'll hurt spending more than one night on there. That's just supposed to be for one overnight, but not for 2 or 3 nights. Their back's going to hurt. So I definitely understand why Carrie's husband's like, I might want to get a hotel room. But yeah, so this episode's really, really good. What else is going on with this episode? Pretty much, Letitia and her husband Glenn went to see his lawyer and spoke again regarding whether Glenn should go and sign a post-nut. As you remember, Letitia was like, I want to have Glenn sign a post-nut. And that's basically, they're already married, but she's getting more assets now than before. And she just wants to make sure that she doesn't have to share all her assets with him in times of, if they did get a divorce. But Glenn was very, very opinionated and basically was saying that, I don't want any of your money. apparently he has gotten another job because remember he had quit his other job. So now he has got another job, and so he's back with working but having to go out of town a lot. So that might affect their relationship too. But I was like, kind of like, I don't know, like Letitia was like, whatever happens between the Bells and for their son, she was like, if there's a pair of socks, I want to pay half, buy one sock, and he buy half and buy the other sock. So basically, she's like, she wants to be an independent woman in a marriage and split everything down the middle. And but when they first got together, they basically, were like high school or something of that sort. And Glenn was the one who was the breadwinner and providing all the bills, payments, and taking care of her and everything. But I don't know. I think Letitia is being very hard on him. But allegedly he was caught cheating earlier, or was trying to cheat in the comments of one of the people that were part of the friend group. But apparently nothing happened. But I think that Letitia never really got over that. And so she's just like, hey, I need to get a post-nup. So even though we didn't have a prenup, I need to be able to protect my assets. Because allegedly Letitia is going to, she's in the, she's in the talks to get a new talk show. So that's going to be a different level of income. And so I kind of understand a little bit that she wants to have a post-nup because she always thinks that he's cheating on her. Yeah. And she probably might leave him one day if, it's constantly baby rumors and new affairs. And I think after a while you just get tired of that, where everything else is going good in your life, but your husband is always assumed to be cheating, and then you feel like you have to protect yourself. And that's really what the prenup is about, and the postnup is about. It's about things like that. So I get how they both feel, but I feel as though you're already married. She probably, I don't know, maybe I would probably get a post-nup also because of his cheating rumors. I would probably say, let me protect my assets too. And I think Glenn is, when they met with the lawyer, I think Glenn is really going to try to basically sign anything that Letitia feels that she needs to have. Because like he said, I don't want any of your money. That he loves her heart, and he got with her because of her heart, and she had no money. He does not care about her money she's receiving now. And I really believe Glenn, but if there's really a divorce, people change. Yeah, right, guys? People definitely change when there's a consideration of a divorce, and they get mean-spirited and nasty, because especially if the other person that got the divorce put against them did not want to get divorced, they might get angry and try to take all the other person's money and sole custody and not share custody. It really gets bad with divorces and things of that sort. I really hope that they decide one way or another and not keep going back and forth, because how many episodes do we have to talk about this with them? Either he's going to sign the post-nup or he's not. And let's move on with the storyline, guys. Sometimes just that. Because, they keep going back and forth and no one knows what they really are trying to do about anything. So it's a waste of time sometimes. 2 years that I'm talking about. And that's how it really be in real life. It'll be 2 years of people talking about whether they're going to sign the post-nup or not. But please, don't let us have to talk about that and see that for 3 years, 2 years on a TV show. So, and that makes me think that, sometimes people do speed things up because it's on TV. They will get the divorce, while in real life, they will probably been going through things for 10 more years. Yeah, so a lot of times, because you're on TV and everyone has their opinion and everyone has their comments and things of that sort, on TV, people probably when they're sharing their life, they can't handle it because it's so intensified that they'll just be like, I'm just going to get this divorce. I'm tired of this. But they could probably have been together. People would be in miserable relationships for years. 10, 20 more years. But yeah, so, and for Carrie and her husband, it's one of those things where you're like, because we haven't really had a lot of time with Carrie and her husband, but, she's losing her restaurant, one of her restaurants, and I think she's like crying and feeling like her husband and no one cares about what she's going through. All her husband cares about is helping his mother with the land, the 300 or so, almost 400 acres of land that they have somewhere in the South that was supposed to really be handed to his father, and now she has control over it after the divorce. I'm like, did they say that after they got divorced, he still gave her the land? That's different. But, so I think Carrie feels as though what she's going through doesn't matter. I think that the mother and Carrie are fighting over the attention of her husband and her son, which I've never seen it play out like this before. But, yeah. I think they need to understand they have different roles in his life and give the guy a break sometimes. Yeah, it's definitely challenging. I definitely think they need to seek some therapy and counseling to get a way of handling how they're going to deal with one another moving forward. Because this could get worse as everyone gets older. It can definitely get worse, and no one wants that. Okay, guys, well, this wraps this up. Make sure to hit that subscription button right now. Yeah. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And share this video with 10 people and tell them to do the same thing. Okay. You're watching the Binti Love podcast. Okay. Bye, guys.